Hey, what about creating trees in different styles? Let's start with a cubic tree. And first we need to create a platform. For that we need a cube shape, set height to 5 and width to 200 and click finalize. Next, let's create a stem. Use cubic shape again with height 160, length and width 20. Now unhide all objects, and as you can see, stem is inside the platform because platform height is 5 millimeters. So we need to move the stem up by 5 millimeters. Now we will start creating a green leaf part of a tree. First, hide all objects and select a cube shape again. Use default values. All sides will have 100 value. Change the height to 120 and click finalize. I don't want this tree to look boring, so I have an idea. I'll copy this object by simply clicking on a copy button. Then the tree will appear on the right. Then with the help of scale, I'll make it smaller, and of course don't forget about keep the proportion option for proportional scaling. Set X value to 50, and now we will rename the object to leaf, just for your comfort, and use a line with the leaf as the reference. In aligning setting, set the middle to align vertically to the center and also front right to align with the angle. Now in offset option, set -40 on X and Z. And that's the result. To create a few more parts like this, I will use copy offset with option pivot to create 3 copies. As you can see, each copy is symmetrically placed according to the central dot. Leave only one object selected to work with it and set Y size to 25 and move down a little. Select another copy and move up, for example. Select another and move down. Scale to 40 with keep proportion on. Select the last one and move it a little upper. Then create a copy of it with option position and move a copy a little lower. Then reduce the size to 20 and with help of gizmos make it a little bit longer. Now choose this one and also make a copy. So on our tree we will have a more organic look. Move it up and change the size. Remember that you don't need to create totally the same model. Let your imagination play in SelfCAD. The last copy I want to do here. I will use copy with pivot option and now move lower, scaling size to 30 and here 40 and move it a little to the right. And our tree is almost ready. The last thing to do is create a hole inside the leaves so they can be easily composed after print. So select this and set position option. If the position is 0, then the new object will be copied right to the same place. If you switch to wireframe, then you can see that we really have two objects. Select all leaves and switch back to mesh. Use stitch and scope with option difference, selecting leaves in the drop-down. To see what has changed, click Apply first and move a platform a little. You can see a little hole inside the leaves. Now undo last change using arrow. Create one more cube with position value 5, height 10, and length and width 40. I suggest to select the lower part using right mouse click and merge it to make all objects solid. We need to do the same thing with leaves. For that, for first selection, use inverse to select the objects that are currently unselected, and now use merge again. Rename it to cubic tree top part and other object to cubic tree log. Finally, move both objects to 250 on Z-axis. Now let's create a low poly tree using a deformed shape. Create a platform using cube shape with height 5, length and width 200, and change the position to 0. The platform we have, now create step using cylinder shape this time. Hide all objects and create a cylinder with 150 value on height and both radiuses 10. Set position on Y to 5, like we did with the previous tree step. Click Finalize. Now it's time to create a sphere. Uncheck Hide All Object setting and set amount of horizontal segments to 15 and vertical to 10. Also set height to 120 and radius to 55. Deform it to make it more perfect. Use face selection with loop settings. Select two polygons, and as you can see, we have the whole row selected. So let's try to customize it. Turn on Custom Pattern and use Scale to make them bigger. Same thing with other rows. You can change the settings according to what you are doing and how it looks. I will also move some parts here and a little here. I'll turn off loop selection and continue. And trees are ready. I like it. Last thing is creating hole in trees. Turn to framework to see what we have. We can select the mesh and make a copy in 0 coordinates. Then use difference and choose leaves in drop-down. And the hole is ready. And it fits perfectly. Now merge bottom parts and then change names. Start with creating a platform. Use same values that we used in previous platform. If they weren't saved, then the height needs to be 5, length and width 200 and position 0. Now let's hide all the objects we don't need. For this, click Isolate. So we see only the platform. Now we'll create a stem, choose cube and set height 160, length and width 20, and it's on the platform of course, so don't forget to move it up by 5. Now turn on face selection and select the top part. Move it a little to the right, so it will be placed angle-wise. Unselect the object and turn on cube selection with options 73 here and 86. Click Finalize button. Unselect everything and select only this part. Use extrusion with 45 value here and apply. Apply again, but now with the value 60, and I will also place it higher so it will look like another branch. Move it here and also rotate. This part I will also rotate using Rotate tool. I will create 3 spheres. First one will be here, second here, and the last in the middle. So we'll get grateful leaves. I will use octahedron, and don't forget to unhide all objects. Set position to 130 and move a little to the right side. To know on which axis we need to move our object, we can look here. We have to move on z-axis because it is responsible for horizontal line. Here we can set the values, and as you can see it starts from the center and goes left. So we have a positive value that moved left. In this case, we need to set the negative value minus 50, for example. Next, using copy offsets, I have it open here. If you don't, then choose it here. And set that to 60 and number of copies to 2. Now we can reduce the size by 10 and make a copy. So we have created 2 copies, where each has been rotated on z-axis on 60 degrees more than the previous one, and the size was reduced on 10. So this is the smallest, this is the biggest one. Close this panel, remove the selection from this central one and scale other with keep proportion on 100. Then I need to scale the central one on 80 and move it a little upward. So we get an interesting tree. The last thing we need to do is to cut holes from stems. For this, first select all green parts and merge them to make a solid object, because both spheres need to have holes. And as we did with the previous trees, copy stem and select the green part. Use difference and just see the result. Now, using inverse selection, select the stem and the platform and apply merge, then also rename. At last, choose both parts of the tree and move by 250 on Z-axis. Now let's prepare our trees for print. First, I will choose a cubic tree and then repeat the same steps for others. So with selected cubic tree, choose Magic Fix in Tool section. Magic Fix repairs the mesh of the object by connecting its parts. As you remember, all those parts are separated cubes, but we need one solid object. So let's set 180 and click apply. And something like this appear between them. That means that objects were connected. We need to perform the same action on other objects to have a perfect mesh. The next object is this, and also set Magic Fix to 180. That's cool that this tool doesn't change the shape of a tree, it stays low poly afterwards. Do the same actions with the third tree. It's time to scale trees now. Select all with Ctrl A and choose Scale tool with Keep Proportion option in Advanced Settings. Set approximately height for each tree. In my case, it is 80 millimeters. With the help of Move tool, center all objects. Stop parts will be printed separately. From down parts, we need to move them to 0 coordinates and place aside. Do the same on each. And we prepared everything for 3D print. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Bye!